Okay, so we seem to be live. A very good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to another edition of the weekly career class. I'm Thomas, and we at iDream Career have been conducting these weekly career classes every Saturday at 4 p.m. Today we have a senior counselor with us, Ms. Shilpa Pathak and Ms. Parmita Sarma, both of whom are today going to be talking to you about overseas education and focusing more on UK and Europe. So we have been doing this series of webinars every month to be able to take you through different geographies and to tell you about the nuances of what is required to be able to prepare for the same. So once again, thank you very much, Parmita and Shilpa ma'am, to be able to do this. And over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Parmita, you want to say your hi before you go?
Yeah. So welcome everyone to this weekly class. So today we'll be learning, a lot of information ma'am is going to share for UK and Europe. I'll be there in the background. So, if there are any queries, any issues, any doubts you have, please put it in the chat box. We will try and answer as many as we can. Yeah, over to you, ma'am. Looking
All
forward
right.
to a great weekly class.
Yes, yes, looking forward myself. Thanks a lot, Parmita. Thank you. And thanks, Thomas. Yes, so in continuation with what we have done so far, as Thomas and Parmita have just said, we have been doing these classes. So we started off with basic understanding of overseas education and why and how. Then last time we did for US and Canada. And this time we are looking at UK and Europe, because these are the destinations that are quite favorable to most students. And understanding the nitty gritty about all of these things will help students understand how they need to apply, what do they need to look for, and hopefully those type of doubts will be answered in this presentation. And also, as Parmita said, if there are questions, please do put them in the chat box so that we can, reply to them as and when the presentation is going on. All right. So without further ado, let's start with the first one. Okay, I don't know, something's blocked. One second, I am not able to go to the next slide. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know why that has happened, but anyway, let me try again. So yes, as I said, we're starting with the UK and looking at some of the good universities. What is the admission process? What are the things that one needs to do and think about, and understand why UK, right? So why UK? Why do students choose UK? Many a times when students come to us, they are a little confused as to, which country would be the best fit for them, what are the type of universities and all that. And they have this fair idea of what they want to do, but, a little lost as to why I should choose one country over the other. So UK being what it is, and as you can see, you have world-renowned universities there with lots of, a lot of research and technology R&D going on. You have your Oxfords and your Cambridge, your Imperial, your Leeds, your Warwick, all of those top universities that are there. And so therefore it becomes a very favorable destination for students. There are benefits, other benefits also that students can look at when they're making the decision of whether they want to look at UK or US or any other country. The degrees there in the UK are in most cases shorter than the ones that you have in the US. For a bachelor's degree in the US, they're most usually 4 years, a BS degree would be a 4-year degree. In the UK, most of the degrees, the undergraduate degrees, are 3-year degrees. Okay, there will be a few that might be 4 years, but on the whole, they are 3-year degrees. Right? And also, even the master's degree, if you have the master's degree in the US, they are usually 2 years. And in the UK, most of them are 1 year. So the benefits of looking at shorter degrees is one, that you can, graduate before, much earlier, get into the work field much earlier. You also, save on money, right? It's one less year of studies in that country. So obviously there are benefits for looking at UK as a destination, because the duration of the degrees are usually shorter than the ones that are there in US. Okay. Healthcare benefits now, for students who are international students that are going to the UK, there is a certain amount of fees that students will pay, around, I think it is 470 pounds per year. This is included when they're applying for their visas. So this health surcharge that they are asking for, it's a yearly thing. But with that, a student will be able to take full advantage of the national health health system there in the UK. They can go to a doctor, they can get themselves admitted if they need to. So that's a big reassurance for students and parents, when in certain countries it'll be really, really expensive. So this is another big benefit for UK. Financial support for international students, there are many scholarships that are related to certain universities. Otherwise, also external scholarships. You have your Rhodes for Oxford, Cambridge. You have your Reach. There are so many different types of scholarships that international students can look for. And there are some specific ones that are there, especially for Indian students. So it is always best, when you're looking at the universities, have a look at this type of scholarships that are there. As we had mentioned last time also, it is always good, if you're looking at scholarships, try to apply early. That always makes a lot of difference. The earlier the applications go, the better chances of you getting a scholarship. Okay. Employment opportunities after studying. So the new graduate route that has been introduced for students have become a big advantage, because earlier you could only stay back for 3 months after you finished your degree, whether it's undergraduate or post-graduation degree. Now you are allowed to stay back for 2 years. 2 years if you've done a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, and 3 years if you've done a doctoral degree. And the good thing about this, the other advantage that you have over here, is that these the graduate route, visas that you would get, is not dependent on sponsorship from your company. Okay, so you can stay back after you finished your studies and change your visa to the graduate visa, and stay back for 2 years looking for employment or doing any type of employment that you wish, without having the tension of a sponsorship from your company, right? So that's a big benefit that has come through, and that has attracted a lot of students now looking at UK as a very, very viable option than they did before. Gateway to Europe, yes. I mean, obviously, because you're there, you can go into Europe, go into the different countries. Obviously, there has been certain restrictions because of Brexit. It's not as easy, but yes, you can still just pop over to France or to Belgium or to Netherlands or Germany, and therefore avail of all of the good history and the culture that is available to you in Europe. So therefore, these are some of the reasons why UK becomes a very favored destination for students. If you see the statistics this year, it has been said by the UCAS, which is the main service that is there for applications. They have said there has been a 19% increase in the number of students that went last year. So, I mean, it has picked up. And now when, because of the COVID and all that, there were a lot of restrictions, but now I think India has come into the amber zone. So it is easy for students to go and study in the UK. All right. Looking at last time we looked at different universities and a little bit of history about them. I think it's nice to know a little bit like that, to see, what are the type of universities that are there. If we saw last time, we saw that, the Ivy Leagues that were there in the US, you found that they was established somewhere in 1700. If you look at the universities, or a little bit of a history about the universities, the education system that is there in the UK, you will find that there are 5 types of universities that one can look at. Ancient universities, those are, your usual, your Oxford, your Cambridge, the ones that has been established in something as early as 1096 until 1582. These are the universities that were there, that were established. So you can see the depth of history that is there in these universities, right? They are all still standing today. So it's really quite a big feat, and that's why they are, well sought after, right? The red brick universities that they came in the 19th century, during the World War I, and in major, industrial cities, to suffice for the growing demand for, basic universities, because there were not so many earlier. And therefore, when people wanted to, get into other subjects like science, design, technology, engineering. So the next set of universities were the red brick universities that came in the 19th century. And you have, a lot of the top ones that are still there today. Again, Birmingham, you have Bristol, Leeds. So a lot of the good ones that are there. Then the next one, plate glass universities, it basically came from, the architectural structure. That is why they're called plate glass, because the structure was there, they were made of glass. So these universities came in, 1963, so not too far away. And between 1963 and 1992, these were progressive universities. They looked into new types of syllabus, new types of programs, and new types of teaching methods. The universities or polytechnics or metropolitan universities that are there, those were the ones that came in, even a little later on, after the 1990s, and they catered for different types of subjects, different types of specialities like design and hospitality and creative art and health. So these came a little later on, and you have a lot of the top universities there as well. When we talk about the Ivy Leagues of UK, we talk about the Russell Group of universities. They will include your ancient universities as well, like, your Cambridge and Oxford and all that. But these consist of 24, top research universities that are there in the UK. So just a little bit of history about the type of universities that are there. UK, the universities in UK are independent bodies, unlike what you have in US and Europe. There are no government-owned universities. You have private universities, but also these are all funded. Most of them are funded by, although they're independent bodies, they are funded by the government. Okay, so again, I'm stuck. All right, let me just get out of this. It's not going forward. I don't know why this is happening. Trying to get to the next. Okay, I did. All right, sorry. Okay, so now having a look at this, the process that is there. We had the same type of process last time, right? Start with researching. I think, at least you should think about, the type of schools you want to get into, the type of programs that you want to get in, what are the type of requirements that are there. This is a lot of work that should be done at least, 6, 8 months, 12 months before you actually start your application. Understanding, the differences. I mean, if I can give you some differences of, when students say, I don't know whether I want to go to UK or I want to go to US. So there are definitely a lot of differences, right? As I said, the programs, the duration of the programs are different. The universities also, there are certain advantages when you're applying to the US, because the US also has, they look at a holistic profile. US, UK universities are more academically inclined, right? So they don't look at too much of your extracurricular. Your programs that you're going for are usually, you have to decide before you go there. Whereas in the US, you can choose your major later on. You have, UK does not require the SATs or the ACTs for admissions, which is a different advantage for, could be an advantage for students who are applying to the UK. They would need the English proficiency test, the IELTS or TOEFL for the admissions to their universities at the undergrad level. Post-graduation, most of the programs would definitely need a GRE or a GMAT for their master's programs. The other big advantage that UK has over the US, especially for Indian students, many of times students are passing out with a 3-year bachelor's program. And for US, you need to have a 4 years bachelor program, right? You need to have 16 years of formal education. Therefore, many a times there are difficulties for students coming from India who can then apply to the US. UK does not have this. They do accept your 3-year bachelor degree, whether it's in science, maths, in science, commerce, humanities, whichever. But a bachelor's degree of 3 years is acceptable by the UK universities. So that becomes a big plus point for Indian students specifically to go for their master's program in the UK. So research, look at the options, see what is needed. Then obviously look at your finance. Finance, as we said, look at scholarships that are available, that are within the within the university itself, external scholarships that are there, what type of financial aid that will be provided by these universities. So see how you can, because you would have to show your finances and how you're going to pay for your studies, right? So it is very important to look at all of this. And if you need to have some sort of financial aid, then please do it as early as you can and, apply early. Okay. UCAS, we will go into that a little more in the next slide. So you have to complete the UCAS application. The UCAS is your University and Colleges Application Systems. It's a centralized admission process, application process, like you have in the US, like the Common Application. You have the UCAS application for the UK. Once you have applied to the universities and you have an admit, then you can apply for your student visa. Student visas are the 4-tier visa that you will need for as a student. And it will be applicable for the full length of your studies, after which you would have to convert that before your tier 4 visa is over. You would have to apply for the graduate route visa. And, once you get that, then you can extend it and change the visa type that you have. Okay. So this is basically the 4-step process that you would have. Looking at the application, so understanding how it is, talking about what are the processes. So as I said, UCAS is the main application service that is given by UK. And most of the universities in the UK go through this UCAS. So there may be a few universities that will allow you to apply to them individually, but in most circumstances, it might not be possible. Okay. So when you look at the UCAS system, the deadlines or the dates that are there the forms, you can start looking at the UCAS, you can start looking at the, your the applications from as early as 18th of May. You cannot submit any application till the 7th of September, which obviously has started. So students have already started filling in the form and submitting the form online. Applications for Cambridge and Oxford and for medicine, veterinary science, dentistry and things like that, the last date for applications is 15th of October. All right. So this has an early application. So you have to make sure that when you're applying to these universities, you have everything in place before the 15th of October. Now, when you're applying to Oxford and Cambridge, you must realize that you cannot apply to both, right? You can only apply to Oxford or you can apply to Cambridge. All right. So you have to choose the type of programs. Therefore, you have to be very confident of which university, if you are looking at those two universities, which is the better one for the program that you're looking for. Okay. Cambridge and Oxford have a lot of other tests that they may require for certain programs. So they have, Cambridge has additional forms. Oxford have maybe additional writing pieces that you would have to do. So you would need to start these applications for these two universities or even for medicine much earlier, because you will need to take those other tests that are there. And, whether it is for law, there are tests, LNAT or BMAT or UK CAT for, medicine. So there are many tests that are there, even the TSA test that is there if you're looking at economics or things like that, thinking skills test. So you need to know that, what tests are required for whichever, course that you're looking for. So when you're looking for these applications, please do start early because there is a lot to do. All right. 26th January is the deadline for most of all of the other applications. All right. By 26th of, so if you start from the beginning, if you're saying you can start from 7th of September till 26th of January, you can finish the UCAS form. All right. Filling in. So the UCAS form would require one recommendation letter. It would require your predicted scores. It would require one essay, So therefore, it's some in a way it's simpler than the application process, for the US. It's not as difficult or as tedious as the US applications. So here you only need one essay, you only need one recommendation letters, you need your predicted scores from your school, and then you can apply through the UCAS, right? So once you have done that by 26th of January, these are the dates that typically everyone should apply for, right? But because there are certain students who think of, oh, I've got this, I've done well in this, exam or something, and let me try applying to UK universities. So the beauty of this, of the applications in the UK is that there is time for you to even apply later on. If you have missed the 26th January deadline, right? For example, then there is something that is called UCAS Extra. And there is something that is called, which starts on the 25th of February, and it carries on, for most applications till 30th of June, you can carry on applying through those extras, right? After which, so the extra is, the only thing with extras is you can only apply to one university at a time. And you can only apply through extra if you have not got an admit in your first choice, your first set of universities, or you have declined the offer from the universities that you have got admit. Then you can use the extra, this thing for application, but you can only apply one university at a time. Their decisions will come within 21 days. If you speak to them, you can speak to them directly and say that, hey, I'm applying through the extras, and they will see your file with your UCAS number online, and they can see, what are your qualifications, etc., and see if they like you as a student. They may give you, a sort of a confirmation, maybe on the phone also. But then you can, then you can wait for the university to get back to you once you've put in that name. And if they get back, you get the admit, you can take the admissions. If not, after 21 days, you can apply to a new university. So, and this is the way extras are done. Then there is something called clearing. Now, after the last date for extras is 4th of July, anything after that will go into clearing. Now, clearing is also something that students who are thinking at the very last minute, now I want to apply to certain universities, you can get into the clearing. So clearing basically means that you have a chance to apply to universities that still have some openings left, right? So if you're looking at, the courses that are there, if you're looking at, all of the programs that you're wanting to do, and you're looking at certain universities, you can try to find which are the programs that are left in which university, all right? And then you can put in that one, you contact the university and tell them that I am applying through clearing, and they will look at your UCAS application and they will tell you whether they will give you an admit. If they say yes, then you put in that college for the clearing, and they will then have your admissions done, and that way you can apply till 19th of October. So even though the colleges may have started, even today, if you go on many of the university sites, you will see that there are still, there are still places that you can get into even today, because there are openings that are there for certain programs in certain universities. Obviously, it won't be the best ones, the first choice that you may have, but that's fine. I mean, you can have a look. All right. So this is basically how the UCAS system works. All right. So these are the deadlines that are there. Again, I'm stuck.
Ma'am, you can try moving out from full screen and then moving to the next.
Yeah, I am trying to do that. I'm not able to get to.
So if you hover your mouse on towards the top,
yeah,
should be able to have that. No. Okay.
Sorry, it's. I'm not able to.
Maybe we can just go for next page, no? Let's just shift it.
It's. I think it's hung actually.
Yeah. From the scroll down button towards the left hand side of the screen. Yeah, here from here only. If we can go to the next page, maybe.
I am not able to do anything.
Ma'am, yeah. So here you see a button that says next page at the bottom. Yeah, third from bottom.
Yes. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So we can go like this way.
Okay. All right. Oops. Sorry about that.
Problem, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So the main intakes that are there for the UK universities, again, it's the usual things, the autumn intake, which is the September one. So all the courses that are there, all the universities will have the September intake for all the programs. January is the second intake that are there, but you will find that, a lot of the programs won't be there that you wish to apply for. So be very careful if you miss the deadlines for some of the universities and you're looking for the next year. You can do the January intake, but be sure that the programs are there. May intake is really not there available for most of the universities. There are only a very, very few that are there, and for very few courses for international students. So be aware of the deadlines that are there and see, make sure that you apply accordingly. All right, let me do next slide. That's great. All right. Okay, working options as a student. So students who are looking at, working, obviously trying to earn a little bit of pocket money, helping themselves with some of the tuition. So a student can apply, an international student can apply, can work for 20 hours a week per term. Okay. When their studies is on 20 hours a week, and that's usually the case for most of the European countries. All right, 20-hour week, and even I think for most of the countries any which way. Full time once you are in vacations or before the course starts. Work placements are also there. If it's an integral part of the course, then definitely it can take up to, if it's a 3-year course, you can work for 1 year. All right, and obviously after your period of study in the UK is ended, as I said, you would have to change your visa, the type of visa that you have after your course is finished, from the 2-tier to the 4-tier to the 2-tier, or the graduate visa, so that and you have to do that before your course ends, right? To be able to stay back for another 2 years. That graduate visa is not, you cannot extend that, after those 2 years you would have to then apply for a work visa. All right. All right. So that was giving a little bit of an insight of for UK. Looking at Europe, right? Why study in Europe? Now, a lot of these countries that are there in Europe have become very, very popular for international students. Why? Because there are many courses now. Today, there are many courses that are taught in English. Initially, what used to happen is that in countries like Germany, France, Netherlands, Sweden, you would find that most of the courses were taught either in their language, right, French or German or whatever. So Dutch. But now you will find that many of these countries have English taught courses. So although, I mean, as a counselor, I would tell you it is definitely a requirement for a student to know the language up to a certain proficiency, because otherwise, you will find it difficult to communicate with people there, going for an internship, but it may not be mandatory for the course that you are applying for. So that is one of the reasons why Europe has become a very good, a favorable destination. Low tuition fees. I mean, obviously, so many students know that if you're looking at the public universities in Germany, for an international student, they are free, right? So the programs are free. So students would like to, if they are going there, they are only looking at expenses where, the living expenses that you need to think about. And the tuitions are free. There are, there are requirements that you may have otherwise for, studying in these universities, especially in Germany. You might have some other requirements for, you're having, if you're looking at technical courses, or you're looking at the technical universities or the applied sciences, you may have to have certain levels of, proficiency, or certain courses that you need to take before you can actually get into the first year of your undergraduate course. But these are things that you can look at, go onto the site. DAD is one of the best ones that is there for Germany. They will give you all the requirements, all the information that you need for, applying as an international student for Germany. Quality of education is exceptional again in Europe. You have, some of the best schools in the world that are there. I mean, France, you have the top business schools that are there, and so there's a lot of good quality education that is there in Europe, and therefore, more and more students are now looking at Europe as a good destination for, for studying. Traveling, you can travel, across each country, and look in, it's an experience that you will have, when you're going to different countries that are so nearby. Just cross over to the border. I mean, I went from France and you get into Belgium, you're just crossing a border, you don't even know you're in a different country, right? So this is all very possible for students that are studying in Europe. There are many programs that are there where you would have 1 year in one country and 1 year in another country. So there's a lot of flexibility. There's a lot of things that you can learn as you go from one country to the other. A dynamic culture. I mean, there's a lot of history in all of the European countries, and you can take in the new culture that is there, the different ways of, may learn a new language, may see different cuisines, see different architectural sites. So there's a lot of culture that you can get. Accelerated growth. I mean, as I said, you will find that the degrees that are there will be they are faster than you're getting into the US, because they are most of the degrees that are there. Even in the other countries, these European countries, they are usually 3-year degrees. There are some 4-year degrees, like in Germany, if you want to do, but most of them, your bachelor's degrees are 3-year degrees. I'm not talking about medical or law or anything like that, because that would be at least 5 to 7 years, but that's a different thing altogether. But most of the bachelor degrees are of 3 years. So you can finish your degree, your undergraduate degree, within 3 years, and either do a master's or get into working over there. Okay. Something has happened here again.
Ma'am, you can try it once more to hit next page.
No.
Or maybe you can move out of the full screen mode itself.
I think it's already.
So, ma'am, it won't work from there. If you hover the mouse cursor on top, you should have an option, the green button that will minimize it or move it out of.
I'm not able to get that, unfortunately.
Oh, you see on the. Oh, you can't see the green one on top. Okay, so you'll probably have to move the Zoom sharing screen from there, or else I can share my.
Oh, okay. Oh,
right.
No, I think we've gone forward. All right. I think this is the next one. Just no, this is the next one. All right. Somehow it has happened. All right. Please bear with me. This is something crazy going on with my screen. All right. So the main intakes that are there for, I've just listed down 3-4 countries. You have in most of the countries, in the European countries, there are 2 main intakes, right? In Germany, you have the main intake is in summer, and the other one is in winter. In France, again, you have in January and in September. Both are equally important. So make sure that you know which intake that you're looking for and what are the requirements. Italy also has 2 intakes, and so has Netherlands. All right. So look at dates, which are the application dates, what are the deadlines that are there when you're looking for applying to the European countries. All right. As I said, visas, working while studying, in most cases, it is 20 hours a week. While you are studying, you can work 20 hours a week. Netherlands is slightly lesser. You can work for only 16 hours a week. The visa types, obviously, you have to have the long-term visas. The Schengen visas and all you will not be able to use those visas for studying. So you need to have either a long-term or a short-term student visa. Short-term student visas are for those who are looking at programs for something from 3 to 6 months and not more. So anything above 6 months would require a student to get a long-term visa. Go onto the official sites, see what is required for each visa type. You have to make sure that you have your financials in place when you're applying for the visa. You have your admit from your university, and then you can apply for the visas accordingly. As things are at the moment, you will see that it takes much longer to get a visa than it used to before. So please do it well in time before your studies start. After your degree programs are over, in most of the European countries, you can stay back for at least a year looking for employment and then changing your visa from a student visa to a work visa. And in Germany, you're allowed to stay for 18 months and not 12 months. So there's a lot of advantages that you can have when you are trying to thinking of studying in Europe. All right. I think I've sort of taken up most of the basic questions that are there for overseas, for UK and Europe. If there are questions, please do put them, and we will try to definitely answer them now. Or we can always get back to you if needed. Can I hand this over to you, Thomas, for the rest of the slides, please?
Sure, ma'am. So I'll just take over the slides and I'll share my own screen then.
Yeah.
Right. So I have some questions on Indian colleges. Parmita, if you're there on chat, if you could respond to Jay, because I see that's not.
Yes, that's not relevant. I'll respond through the YouTube channel.
Great. So thank you. So thank you, Shilpa ma'am, for taking us through that entire detailed process of how the overseas system works uh, in Europe and UK. The objective of the overseas guidance system for us at IDC was, number one, to be able to create some awareness, to be able to provide unbiased student-centric guidance, and to be able to correct misconceptions by providing uh, accurate information. So, like ma'am was taking through, you will have a profile building, career decision making, country and university shortlisting process. And again, from that, you have phase 4, which is more on college application formalities, interview preparation and guidance. And if you also need loan assistance, visa and travel advisory guidance, that's also something that our overseas counselors like Parmita or Shilpa ma'am will be handling. So if you do need any kind of guidance with regards to planning for colleges or for careers, uh, you are more than welcome to go to idreamcareer.com, and one of our career advisors would be able to help you out and schedule a session with you. So the kind of programs that we have on offer for students who need handholding support, who just got out of class 12 board exams and are looking for colleges, and you need to be able to prepare for those colleges or even apply for them. We have an Explore program. We have which has multiple counseling sessions with an individual with a career counselor, along with the psychometric assessment and report. There is an Inform program as well, which is 2 counseling sessions, and some of you who might only need specific information from the counseling, you also have an option for a single counseling session as well. So apart from that, of course, like Shilpa ma'am, we're taking you through the overseas system. This week it was UK and Europe. The previous month we did it for US and Canada. Uh, we will subsequently also be looking at Singapore, Hong Kong, Australia, New Zealand as well, and we will be posting you on the dates on the same. So we please do tune in for every weekly career class. We have one happening every Saturday at 4 p.m. on our YouTube channel. So if you could subscribe to the YouTube channel, you should be able to get updates on all the webinars in a timely manner. So in the meanwhile, I am looking for certain questions. I don't see any questions here, Shilpa ma'am. If there are any kind of questions from anyone, you are more than welcome to share your queries to support@idreamcareer.com. Let me just quickly share my other PPT as well. I think I might have missed out something here. All right. So I think there is some slide missing on my side, but would request everybody who has joined the session today. Thank you very much. And you can go to itreamcareer.com, speak to one of our career advisors there, and schedule a counseling session for yourself. Meanwhile, I have also shared a meeting link, a link to fill up on a free orientation session in case any of you need any kind of help on understanding what the overseas career guidance program is. Parmita Shilpa ma'am would be taking you through the orientation program. So I have shared the link to be able to fill up in case any of you are interested to come for a free orientation session on that. And if you do need any kind of other assistance with Indian colleges as well, our senior counselors would be more than happy to help you out. Just visit idreamcareer.com. So once again, thank you very much, Parimita and Shilpa ma'am, to take us through a very detailed session. Looking forward to the next month's program as well. And hopefully we got all the questions answered. We had some questions on need. So we will circle back to the questions which are not relevant to the topic today. But thank you everyone and have a nice evening.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.